Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Books with Nate. It's been quite some time since I've done this, so without further ado, let's get into it. I have some life updates at the end, but I just want to go over sort of my reading goals for the year and also just some favorite books of mine that I've picked up since my move. So yeah, let's just get into it. So the first book that I've really loved getting and just being able to appreciate looking at, as you can probably tell by this right here, is of course the broken binding editions of the Malazan Book of the Fallen, the first three. My personal favorite is Gardens of the Moon. This is, I think, one of the first images I saw of this series. And it always just really intrigued me, and I think it really captures the epicness of the series just by looking at it. I mean, it's also a beautiful edition that has these sprayed edges along each of them that form an image as well, and that has some very cool art in there. It's also signed by Mr. Erickson himself, which is great. This has turned into my favorite series, and yeah, it's just very cool to have something special like that. There were a few printing issues and delays in the process, so I think I had bought them back in like July of last year and got them in February, I believe. And the price wasn't too bad for like nice special edition books, so I feel very fortunate to have these on my shelf. I really want people to say something when they come over. They never do, but one day I will get somebody to actually comment on them, and then I can explain to them what this series is, and I don't think they'll ever care or listen to me about it, but hey, I'm just happy to have them. Next up is The Magician's Apprentice. This is like a 80s fantasy that's kind of a classic, I believe. I just found the cover to be very old school and cool. I think it's, what's his name? He's a famous artist for book cover. I thought it was by Daryl K. Sweet or Michael Whalen, one of the two, but I don't think it is. I think it's by somebody else. I don't know. I can't find it, but I just think the cover is very cool. I definitely want to get more into 80s fantasy, like 70s, 80s fantasy, kind of go back to old school stuff. It's on the docket for the year, but yeah, I just found the cover to be very cool and had to get it. So yeah, very cool book. I got it from the Bookworm in Boulder, Colorado when I was there over Christmas. So yeah, definitely check them out. They have a great sci-fi fantasy section. It's huge. If you're ever in the area, definitely check it out. They're also very friendly, and they have a really just great selection of books and a lot of other, they have fiction, horror, all that stuff. So check it out. And I also got two more books when I was at the Bookworm in Boulder. That is book 2 and 3 of The World of the Five Gods by Lois McMaster Bujold, or at least the first, second 2 of the 3 in that series. I started The Curse of Chalion, I believe it's pronounced, which is the first book in the series, and I really liked it. I just stopped reading it because I was trying to get through some Sanderson, but I really love the series, and I also really like these covers too. I think they all take place they're a bit disjointed, but I'm really excited to get back into these books because I have only read a short story, like a novella by her, but I really loved it. I love how she writes her characters. It's very like politically driven, character driven, politics, that kind of stuff. And it's really subtle, or just kind of like low key in a way. Yeah, I'd highly recommend giving her a shot. Her sci-fi series is also really big, but I plan to continue with this at some point. But yeah, really like these covers. And another one I've got is Robin Hobb's Ship of Destiny. I just find these covers to be much more appealing than the current ones that are being produced. I just think there's just something about the older fantasy sci-fi covers. I just think that try and capture something within the story itself versus, I think, just kind of being I really do like like the newer covers as well. I think they're cool, they look nice, they're appealing, but they're just not unique and not, I think, telling of what's in the book itself, which is why I like these older covers a lot more. Sometimes they have nothing to do with the story, like the Wheel of Time, or I think in some cases Malazan, even on some of the older covers, it's just like, this has nothing to do with what's in the story, but at least they're trying. So yeah, I really like this cover. I got it at the Abbey bookshop in Paris, France. Since moving to London, my wife and I went there for just a day trip, or like a weekend, and we went to the Abbey bookshop there, which is like this really cool old, it's in this basement of what used to be an abbey, like a church essentially, and it's kind of like tight knit, like, or not tight knit, but like it's a small space, and it's really cool. It's an English bookstore too, so that everything's in English. Sorry if the camera angle looks a little different right now. My cat decided just to jump up and knock my phone over. So in any case, the Abbey bookshop is a very cool, like, just really cool English bookstore in Paris. If you're ever there, definitely check it out. It's very old, and the owner's nice. Yeah, a lot of great selection too. So yeah, I got this there, and I really like it. Also, just a quick shout out to Terry Pratchett's books over here in London. I just love these covers. I've not read Terry Pratchett, but these are at a charity shop, like a Oxfam, essentially. And they were, like $2. And yeah, I just love these covers because they're just so unique and out there. And I think capture, from what I understand, is Terry Pratchett's imagination. So excited to eventually read these. I don't know when, but yeah, I just think they're a very unique design. And finally, we have the behemoth of Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson. I got this at my local bookshop called Backstory. It's in South London. Yeah, I'd recommend checking them out. It's very cute. It's a small selection, but they have a little coffee shop too, very friendly. The owner's really nice. I'm currently reading book 4. I'm almost done. I will finish it soon. I'm reading this with my sister-in-law. She is way ahead of me. I got her onto the series like last summer, and she read all through Mistborn, Warbreaker, and then like she's been ahead of me on the series for like 4 months and just waiting for me to catch up. So I will, and I'm going to read this book too, eventually. So yeah, I'm excited to finish book 4 and also get into this in hope that it all pays off. But I also like the covers here in the UK. I think they're definitely unique. I do really like the US covers too, but these are a bit more minimal in a way. I know I'm just going against what I just said, but yeah, I do like the covers. And now on to my 2025 reading goals. I do want to catch up on Sanderson, of course, like I just mentioned. If I'm in the mood, I think I'll read more of that world. I'm kind of putting in the Mistborn Secret History novella, collection of short stories, or whatever it is, just periodically. Right now, while reading book 4, I also might read like Tress of the Emerald Sea, which I've picked up on a few occasions, and I like it. But I think after finishing book 5, I may just need a break from Sanderson because, yeah, I'm just not in that mood too much anymore. I can only do so much of the explanation of everything. Yeah, it's a little much. I also plan to read The God Is Not Willing, which is right here. This takes place, I believe, after the main events of the main books. I don't really know what it's about, to be honest, but No Life Forsaken, which is the follow-up to this book, is coming out later this year, I believe in August, at least in the UK. And yeah, I plan to read this, I think, in August. We'll see. But yeah, I've been wanting to get back into the world of Malazan, and yeah, I think just preparing for a book release would be a lot of fun, and trying to just read the book when it actually comes out, because I think I got Wind and Truth when it came out. I thought, you know, I would be caught up by then, and I'm not. So yeah, Malazan, planning to continue Malazan, potentially reading some of Esselmont's books as well. And yeah, I also want to read more like mystery and crime books, thriller books or something like that. I don't know. I recently picked up this book, Capital, by John Lanchester, and it seems interesting. It's like everybody gets it takes place in London, and people get this letter in the mail. They're like immigrants and like just locals in South London who kind of are part of this plot, and it just seems really interesting. I've seen it kind of all around bookstores here. So yes, stuff like that. I don't need to read a big series. That's kind of a goal as well, is to really just read shorter books and not commit to large series, because that's just kind of, I think, bogging me down, and not allowing me just to kind of, I mean, I can read whatever I want to read when I want to read it, but, you know, it's kind of limiting me in terms of what I'm reading, and I want to try and expand a bit more. So yeah, that's a goal of mine, is to just read shorter books. So that's what I read kind of into last year, and then what I've been reading this year, and sort of my goals for the year as well. Just kind of a life update. I moved to London with my wife back in September, so it's been almost 6 months now, and yeah, I haven't been posting videos because the move was big. I also don't have like a lot of my equipment either. I just had a mic and a stand pretty much, but I don't have that currently either. So what's the excuse? I just didn't want to make a video. So, but now I want to get back into it a little bit more. I've missed making these and discussing fantasy books and sci-fi books with you all. Please let me know down in the comments, you know, what your goals are for the year. Have you read any of the books that I mentioned, or like, what are your thoughts on book covers? Really just, it's an open book down there. So just let me know. Yeah, I'll be posting a little bit more regularly, maybe not weekly, but at least hopefully like once or twice a month. I'll do some reviews of the books I'm reading, as well as just general discussions, I think. So just be on the lookout for those. And yeah, that's it. So make sure to comment down below, like this video if you want, and subscribe if you want. And I'm looking forward to talking to you soon.